Okay, let's see if this is going to work. Yay, success!
Hello.
Hello, hello, finally. Okay, so for those who didn't know, we were having a technical issue, so I couldn't see
A
Hiba.
chaotic moment.
And because we are talking about chaos today, so chaos decided that, yes, I'm gonna show you a little peek or a sneak peek of how life would look like when we have chaos. So, hi, Hiba.
Hello, hello. I'm
Thank
happy
you
that
for
I'm able
having
to
me.
to join.
Yeah, thank you for having me with you today. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you for joining and being around every time we want to talk about the chaotic world that we are in and how we can calm it down. And I hope that today we will be able to give our audience and the people who are watching us live some tips and tools about how we're going to be calming our brain and how we're going to be enjoying our life and balancing our life. So make sure everybody who's watching to stay until the end because we're going to be discussing and giving you all of these tools and tips. But before we go ahead and give and start to give you those beautiful tips, let me start with a story about why I have decided to me and Maysoon to talk about this topic, right, Maysoon? So the thing is that being a mother and looking at everybody around me and why things are been like so chaotic. When I was in the corporate world, it was like 24/7 and I was working in hotels and HR. So I used to leave not from the operational side. I used to leave with a shift A, like, okay. So going out at 5:30, 6, 7-ish, everybody's looking at their watch like, are you leaving half day today? And I'm like, no, I have shift B and C as well. I need to, I have kids and we have activities and we have many, many things. So the thing is that whenever I used to go out from work and I have a walking distance just to come back to my house. So those couple of minutes that I'm walking, if I used to manage and leave the chaotic world of the corporate world behind, then I'm reaching my doorstep with good start to shift B and C. Yeah? And the moment that I wasn't able to do that, I opened the door with another chaotic shift B and C. And and that thing was really, really interesting for me because even before I entered the house, they used to call me, the kids, and like things start to happen if I had a chaotic day that day. And I started testing that. That was before to calm down myself and then enter the house even before life is normal. If I'm like in my chaotic world, life is chaotic. So, and talking about this topic today, I've learned many, many other tools. Me and Maysoon, we were talking about it, how like we can calm ourselves and how our energy affects everybody around us, even at work, even in any goal, in any situation. So that's why, being in this chaotic world with the war, with the political aspects, with the economy, with everything, everybody feels like whoever you talk to, like they are so much into like it's too chaotic everywhere. So that's why, like, why not we give our audience who are watching us live and those are going to be watching the replay those gems of how to manage our energy. And I decided that, like, let's talk about a very important topic. Many of the people are asking about feminine energy, masculine energy that we're going to be talking about, and how we're going to calm all of that stress and that chaos. Like our brain has like trillions and trillions of synapses, and they are like all the time is like this, what, every time in anything. So so this is my small story that I wanted to start with. And what do you think, Maysoon? Have you been in, like, I'm a mother, you have other responsibility, and I'm sure like everybody who's watching us have like being have their own role, own unique way of doing things.
Yeah, of course, of course. I mean, who has not been in a chaotic state of mind sometimes? I mean, it's before I start talking about my own story, I want to first maybe define chaos because a lot of people don't really, when we talk about chaos, it's very subjective to many people. But what we
Mm,
are talking about here is if we just take into consideration the number of thoughts that we go through every single day. Some studies say that we have minimum of 8,000 thoughts per day. Some studies say we go up to 75,000 thoughts per day. So this is how much our brain is busy. And this is how many thoughts we are having per day. And you are talking about millions of synapses. And that's another story because these synapses are the results of our thoughts, right? These are the pathways for our thoughts when we start thinking these thoughts. So imagine these 8,000, whether they are 8,000, I mean, it's a huge number anyway to start with, or 75,000. Imagine all of these living in a chaotic space, living in a space that does not really have room for them. And
mm,
you talk about our energies, and you also talk about chaos outside of us. The chaos outside of us is a chaos that we cannot really control, right? The chaos that we can control is the chaos that we create for ourselves. And when I say we create, I really mean it because it
mm,
really depends on how we take control of these 8,000 to 75,000 thoughts that we have per day, right? So, how we take that control, this is the main, like, it's our strength. This is our strength. And this is where we show our strength. This is where we show if we can, which I personally think every single one of us can take control over their own life. It's a matter of knowing how, when, and what are the things that can be done. And when you talk about the energies that we hold within us, everything around us is about energy. But the main factors that help us create our own control over our own life is to actually be in control of, other than our thoughts, of our energies. And if I want to share my personal story, I mean, I was in the corporate world, same as you, and then I decided, it's not for me. Then I went to another chaotic life as well because I do my own business, which is an events industry, and that industry is also quite chaotic. But my personal story with chaos was really related to my relationships. And that's why when we were having the discussion, we said, you know what, let's talk about the masculine and the feminine energies because these two energies are really at the foundation of all our relationships, not just the relationship that we might have with the partner, but all the relationships. And you, as a mother, you have a first-hand, what do you say, first-hand relationship with those energies. right? So maybe before, maybe you can start talking about that relationship that a mother usually has, especially because your story is about motherhood. I cannot talk about that story from my side, but you can definitely talk about how the energies that we have, the masculine and the feminine, when they are chaotic or when they are out of
Yeah.
balance, how they affect your role as a mother to start with. And then we will talk about maybe other roles and we'll give some tips.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why, like in my story, I was sharing how much we are affected by everything and how much our energy is contagious to everybody around us. Being a mother, we are by cord, by blood, by DNA, like linked with our children.
Mm.
And being a person who like having children or not, you're as well connected with the feminine and masculine. And but what is feminine and what is masculine? What is energies? Maybe our audience, like I don't want to confuse. I don't want to get you into another chaos, right? But this is Maysoon, what you were saying, like the outside and the inside. And I truly believe our energy, it like if we're able to calm ourselves from inside, it's going to affect us outside. And this is the contagious action. And like as a normal saying, like if somebody's going to come in the room and be of a laughter, charismatic, fun person, you'll directly get that energy and it will uplift you. And if somebody's so anxious and move around and worried and all of that, you'll be like, what's happening? What's wrong? And this is basically in a simple terms, this is what is affecting. Now, if we're going to be talking about our antenna, which is our nervous system, let's say, which is those synapses, the 1 trillion synapses, and from behind, this is basically what is the synapse, the one in between. So the nerve cell between one and the other, and the synapse is in between. And those are the messengers that's gonna be either bumping each other in a chaotic action when you are feeling so much of an anxious person, if you're like worried, even if you are responsible. And this is the motherhood where we always put many hats on. Like we're always being like the nurse, always making sure that everybody's okay, everybody is fed properly, they are doing their homework, and then we put this hat on, and this hat is holding on many baggages, as we say. Like you put a lot of worries and responsibility, and like if they're not doing well, what's going to happen? And then I used to go into like guilt. I used to go into judgment, and I still am. Most of the times, I feel like, okay, I need to judge, I need to make sure that things are done in the right way. And then I pull myself back. It's like, no, this is not my responsibility. I'm not the judge. I shouldn't be the judge. I shouldn't be like you put the responsible. And you put the fair and firm hat all the time. But if it was out of balance, it's always gonna cause, the shift of
Yeah,
that energy.
yeah.
So to go back, lots of synapses, lots of antennas that are inside. If we're able to manage that those messengers that are going from in our nervous system, we'll be able to reach, our router is reaching everybody in the correct signal. Like I just changed the signal, by the way, because my signal, I was checking, the signal was not good for our call. So I had to change it. I had to align
Yeah.
so you're able to hear me properly. Imagine that we are on this call, and every time and then I'm like lagging with the message.
Yeah.
So you won't be understanding, and I'm not going to be delivering the correct message. So that's why aligning ourselves with our call. So what normally happens if we're not aligned, Maysoon?
Uh, Normally you go out of balance. So basically, if and going back to the feminine and the masculine energies, just before we talk about those two energies, and just like Hiba said, we like everything around us, and we are made up of energy. The masculine and the feminine energies are basically specific attributes that we give to the different aspects of who we are as people. So when we talk about the masculine energy, we're talking about the being, the doing, the logic, the specific, the straightforward, the task oriented, the objective, this is the masculine energy. And when we talk about the feminine energy, we're talking about the receiving, the intuitive, the internal, the multitasking. And that's why when we talk about motherhood, we're talking about the feminine energy, because being a mother is a lot about multitasking. Just like you said, you have to wear so many different hats at the same time. And you have this very big responsibility that you need to handle, not just yourself. You're handling your children, you're handling your partner, you're handling your home, you're handling your life, and maybe even your external family, not necessarily just your children. It really depends, especially with our social background. A lot of our in our society, a lot of women actually live with their in-laws, not necessarily within their own home. So that makes the responsibility of a mother even extend further than her own home or her own family. So it's very important to remember that these two energies, they don't exist only, like the feminine energy is not related to women, and the masculine energy is not related to men. Both these
Yeah.
energies are related to any gender. So if I'm a woman, I have both energies. I am intuitive, I am a being, I am task oriented, I am multitasked, I am also logic, I am also straightforward. So I have both energies. And the point is how we can let go of that chaos is by understanding our energies first. First and
Mhm.
foremost, we need to understand where is our like weight. What is the weight of each energy in our persona or in our personality? Are we more inclined to the masculine energy, or are we more inclined to the feminine energy? And once we know this, as we say, Hiba, and I think all our audience, if they've been watching us for a while, they would know that awareness is 50% of the problem resolved, right? So the first thing that we want to know, that we want to do, is we want to become aware, whether we are aware of an issue in our life, or whether we are aware of our limitations, or how we are doing things in our life. That awareness is 50% of any problem solved. Now,
Yes.
then we move
Yeah.
to the second part, which is what are we going to do about this awareness, right? So today,
You
when we
know,
talk about the energies, we now know that every single one of us has both energies, and we now, I will give you some attributes later on. I'll give you a list of things for the audience, whoever is watching now and whoever is going to be watching the replay, for the things that we want to look at to understand where our inclination is. Do we have more of the feminine energy or more of the masculine energy? And then I'll give you some tips also on how to balance the two, so that we can live outside of that chaos that you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, you talking about the awareness, I'm like, I was aware that I'm being a mom. I'm most of the time, I'm in the doing rather than the being.
Mm,
It's like we have to do this, we have to do that. You know, there are many, many, many tasks, and because we have to go into multitasking,
mm,
going into the doing all the time without the being, it just shifts the energy of becoming very much masculine
yes,
in
exactly.
in my motherhood, and that causes like we need to do all the ticks, we need to do all of that because of the time, and that used to take me into being very anxious, and like change my whole personality into like I need to do this, we need to do that, because as well we are brought up with like you go to school, you have to finish the homework, you have to do all the things. When you go to work, you have to finish all the tasks. But if you don't do it with fluidity, if you don't do it with love, if you don't do it with relaxation, then it becomes very rigid.
Yeah.
And it goes back as well, you know, Maysoon, and correct me if our brain, and you know me, I always do like that. Would our feminine be for those who are new here, so our brain is like this, right? So this is our thinking brain, and this is our like the limbic system is our emotional brain.
Mm,
So if our emotions, would you think that our emotions are the feminine and our boss is the masculine in that case? Where like if we're not feeling okay, if we're out of fluidity, our actions will be very tough on everybody else, and then we are not making sense in the way we are like that boss who are like very negative in asking for things and doing things and all of that, so we don't have kind of a balance between both. And and it's so much like when I want to speak with my kids. And if I'm very much of an anxious person, I'm like that, and the kids will become like that. So imagine two people who doesn't have any kind of common sense talking to each other. Are we will never be able to calm ourselves,
mm. That's
you
what's
know?
called chaos.
So
This is chaos. So when you
this
are,
is
it's like you have two, two similar magnetic fields. You know, the magnetic fields, when they are similar, if you have north and north, they will repel, they will not come close to each other. So basically, that's exactly what's happening. Now, I prefer not to associate the feminine with the emotional and the masculine with the rigid, and because the feminine can be rigid, you know,
yeah.
the feminine can also be straightforward. The feminine that is out of balance is the emotional, you know, the
Mhm.
feminine that is out of balance. And this is what we want to do. We want to make sure that our feminine and our masculine are both in balance. So whatever aggression you might feel, this is a masculine that is out of balance. It's not a masculine that is in control and that is balanced. The emotional or the feminine that is that feels powerless, that feels demanding, or that feels controlling, this is a feminine that is also out of balance. So the trick is to understand when the feminine is in balance and when the feminine is out of balance. And the same thing applies to the masculine. When is the masculine out of balance and when is the masculine in balance? And when we are
Mm.
able to balance the two, guess what? They will meet. So they will make that coherence that we spoke about last week and the week before. So that coherent, if you've noticed, all the topics that we talk about, they all come back to the same end result, which is the coherence between everything, whether it is our energies, because we, unfortunately, polarity exists, right? We have
Yeah.
these different notions in our life, in our systems. We have the conscious, we have the subconscious, we have the feminine, we have the masculine, we have the logic, we have the emotional. So everything that we have in our system is kind of these opposites, right?
Yeah.
When they are in balance, they will attract and they will form a homogeneous sort of life. When they are out of balance, this is when we have chaos in our life, whether it's, and we're talking about the internal chaos that we create for ourselves. Anxiety doesn't come to us from outside. Anxiety comes to us from how we see the outside world. It is our
Yeah.
perception that creates everything in our life, whether it's fun or joyful, or whether it's stressful and anxious. So it's really about our perception and how we perceive things. I'll give you, you said something very important, which is about like if you see someone whose energy is always up and positive and enlightened and fun and joyful, you'll get attracted to that. Why do you think people get attracted to these kinds of energies? Because they see themselves as this energy. Otherwise, they will not be attracted. If they don't find that they
Mm,
also have these energies, they won't be attracted to them. You know, it's like seeing yourself in the mirror without knowing that you are seeing yourself in the mirror, kind of.
mm, mm.
Does that make sense?
Is it more of a light energy as you feel like you're lighter in that
Of
space,
course,
isn't
of
it?
course, of course. When you are in balance, it's very simple. Like if you look at a balance, the scale itself, right? If you look at it, that one side is heavier than the other, you will feel that heaviness. You will feel like,
Yeah.
But if you see that balance, you will feel uplifted. It's such a natural feeling that comes to you without you even thinking about it. It just happens.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's about time now to start like, and I want to see if our audience is engaged. Would you like to know some tips and tools to calm your brain and like learn more about those energies like the yin and yang? Like you always see the yin and yang as one circle. In order to have it as one circle, it has to be calmed. So if you're watching us live, just put a one so we would know that you want those tools. And I would start with the physical and then give you some tips and tools of how we're excellent. You're super excited, Maher. Let's see. So for me, I think, and we go back to our brain, Maysoon, it's very, very true what you have mentioned. Because if we're going to be calming our brain, it's true that this part is the emotional, but it's the sensitivity, and it's very, very important as part of our brain is to be sensitive. Imagine somebody who's not sensitive, you
Mm,
know, is if somebody's not sensitive, it's like this is a big chaos.
yeah.
And if somebody is doesn't have those forethought and thinking from one point to the other and managing and planning as well, it's going to be chaotic. So the whole idea is like our brain has like our brain is super super powerful. The idea if we're able to balance how we're doing our antenna are our like wires so tangled or are they flowing properly in the right way? So what are the things that can allow our messengers to go in correct manner, very speedy, because as you mentioned at the beginning, the thoughts is like even quicker than the light.
Yeah.
So what I would give as a practical first thing that you need to do, guess what? You need to breathe.
Yes.
The first thing is just you need to breathe. Like before we started this call, I was asking my sons, like, breathe. give me 2 minutes. I need to breathe because I had some many tasks that were like things that I needed to run and finish before I sit down. So imagine I'm coming to you with my chaotic and not chaotic, but like many tasks and telling you about many things that have been happening. Like we're not going to reach to what we are planning to do here. So the first thing that you would need to do, maybe like take it as a pill, whenever you feel so anxious, you feel like things are not going in the right way, you feel like lots of things outside is affecting you from inside, and inside is affecting the outside. What you just really need to do is to breathe. Now, the type of breathing is the let's call it the belly breathing. So you need to fill your belly so it goes, not your chest. Why we do that? Because when you do the deep breathing, it allows actually the oxygen to reach your brain.
Yeah.
If you're like, what happens when you are running? What happens when you're anxious? You do
Yeah.
what this affects that it doesn't reach your brain because you need to run. You need things has to go quicker. You're not thinking. You're just doing.
Mm.
But what we would like to do to be doing once we want to calm down is to allow the blood to flow into our brain in the right way. So all the functions are working at the same time, balancing. So if try to do that with us, like, and breathe and breathe it out.
And
Okay, there are certain.
maybe it would help also, Hiba, because this kind of breathing, by the way, you do it subconsciously when you are sleeping. When you sleep, that's exactly how you breathe. And this is why you can fall asleep, because there's that serenity, that calmness that comes to your body that allows you to go into that sleep mode. We do it as well, like for me, because I'm a singer, it's something that I do very consciously, because I have to breathe from my belly so that I can have enough breath to hold on to my notes. But something very important, and Hiba, you say it very, we forget to breathe. We really forget to breathe. We forget to take a break, and that is very important. One way to make sure that that breathing happens without us being in the survival mode, we call it, right? When we are always like running, it's like there's something, as if somebody has gone to our head, and we have to do things now, otherwise, life is going to stop. Breathe. And that breath is very simple. If you take it and do it with adding time to it. So by time, I don't mean like you put a timer. You actually count in your head. So you breathe through your belly. You go like this. And then you fill your chest and you count. As you are breathing in, you count to 4. And then you hold your breath to the count of 6, and then you release to the count of 8. That very specific pattern, this will calm your system, and it will help your synapses go in the right flow instead of being all over the place. So what happens in the chaos is those synapses that Hiba is talking about, they are not flowing in the right, like there's no flow, there is chaos, there's like messages coming like this, messages contradicting them and going like, just me doing this should give you an idea what is happening within you if you are anxious, or if you are always on that doing mode, and that, yes, let's do. You have to take that break and do that
Yeah,
breathing. I want to give you another tip, which is very important, because most of us, and I always say it, we tend to live in the past. When we wake up in the morning, the first thing that we do is we think of yesterday, you know? Tell me if I, please let me know if you are, resonating with this. When you wake up in the morning, the first thing that you think is what happened yesterday, right before you went to bed, or what happened yesterday in general. Another tip for you is when you wake up in the morning to allow yourself to be in a no thinking mode. That takes work. It's not something that you can do like straight away. It takes a lot of practice, it takes work, but you want to allow yourself that time. You can start with 1 minute, then you can make them two, then you can make them three, until a point where you can actually have in the morning, maybe half an hour, where you actually wake up and think of nothing, and do the things that, and I give you a tip. The first thing that you do most of the time when you wake up in the morning is you look at your phone, right? I don't look at my phone until it's 11 a.m. in the morning, no matter what, unless I really am very busy and I have like an event and I have clients that I need to attend to. Yes. But in a normal day, I would highly recommend, maybe 11 a.m. is too late in the morning for you, but like if you wake up at 6, don't look at your phone before 7 or 7:30. I am sure the world is not going to crumble if you don't look at your phone for an hour or an hour and a half when you wake up in the morning. What do you think about
Yeah, well, the phone thing is like it was taking me into last month, like just wanting to watch the news and then going into that mode. It was just like I had to stop myself and like limit that time because it was really, really affecting the whole thing. Because for me, like those who knows me, I don't have a TV. I don't watch TV. It's like, but our phones are becoming our TVs, our social media, our everything.
it? Yeah.
So it's very true. Like what the very most important thing, I guess, is before you sleep and once you wake up. Because before you sleep, you can put up the intention of what I want to have in the next day. So you sleep with your achievements already happening the next day and calming down that the next day is going to be organized. The next day is like has achieved its goals by itself by just putting a list of two or three things that you want to calm your brain. What happens when you don't have those plans done or like you don't have them listed? You keep on thinking.
Mm,
And that's why some people like they are unable to sleep properly.
yeah.
We're going to talk about something else now.
Mm,
But once, like I found it really, really helpful when you have a sleeping routine and you have a morning routine and you have those breaks of breathing in between, it by itself, it calms down your whole synapses
mm,
and it allows the blood to flow. Like, for example, again, being a mother, if you're planning your whole shopping list for the week, you're calmed down because you have everything planned. What you need to do is just an hour before, or depends on what you're cooking or whatever you're doing. Like if you feel hungry, or if the people in the house are hungry, everything is there. And imagine that every single day you have to think in the morning, what do you want to eat? And what everybody wants to do. And then starting this whole anxious being. That's why we keep on doing the task thing.
yeah.
So yeah, I totally agree with the phone thing, and I totally agree of planning like when I'm gonna be touching my phone, because the moment that you touch your phone, you're directly in that mode of like what's happening, what are the things that I'm supposed to do, da 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 da. Da.
Yeah.
So the planning is really, really good.
Yeah.
I wanted to,
Mention it in when we're talking about limiting the chaos, having the goals set already. This is what helps us uh, getting this harmony, even if whatever is happening around us is chaotic. Because chaos is not only about the political unrest or about the economical situation. Chaos can be just because your kid is sick, or maybe in my case, chaos can be, if my dog gets sick and I have to think of, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? I have to leave my work to take care of him. So in everything, chaos can be there, but our strength and really our control is is the mastery of how much we can control all of this. And when we are
Yeah.
mastered in that control, it's when we know that if we plan ahead of time, no matter what comes up, kind of we have a solution for it, you know?
Hmm. Hmm.
Another thing like that I like to do is, you talk about the morning routine. For me, for example, in the morning when I meditate, I ask I ask the universe to give me solutions, to put in front of me solutions, even if there are problems. I don't think of the problems, but I always say, Creator or universe, allow me to have solutions for everything. Put in front of me solutions. When you think in that way, even if a problem arises, which sometimes is bound to happen, because at the end of the day, we don't live alone in this universe. We
Yeah.
are beings that are surrounded by so many other beings. So we cannot just exclude ourselves from everything around us, but we can equip ourselves with the things that we need for anything that may arise in our life. And this is why I go back to talking about balancing the feminine and the masculine energies that we have. Because when we know, and then what we do about it is a different story, because sometimes a lot of people know they have problems, know they have issues, and they choose to live with them because
Yeah.
that's their comfort zone. That's where, and I always say, is your comfort zone comfortable enough? Always ask
Mm.
yourself this question. And for me, this question is a question that made me open my eyes to so many possibilities in my life. When I started asking myself, hey, is my comfort zone that comfortable? Really? And then when you
Mm.
start digging, you realize that, hey, my comfortable zone is actually really uncomfortable, and I should find a way to get out of it. And that's when you start working. That's when you start doing the work.
Yeah.
What
Yeah. It's
tips
like
can we give our audience, Hiba,
um
get out of that chaos?
well, the main thing, the goal thing is very, very important, as we said, because it gives you kind of, when you play this dart,
Mm,
have you ever played this dart? If you don't have it and you just want to reach and do things, it's like you're gonna always hit the wrong point.
yeah, yeah.
But so if you keep on doing without having a clear goal, like what would be your goal in your life?
Mm,
I know this might be broad but it reflects on your point, Maysoon, the comfort zone.
yeah,
Where are you? Which zone are you? And which zone do you want to be?
yeah,
You're watching this live for a reason, aren't you?
yeah.
Like you're living kind of a chaotic, or you have seen somebody who are like unable to calm down and you want to help maybe. But so where are you? Which zone are you? Are
Mm,
you are you struggling? Are you thriving? Where are you? Because if you're on the map of life and you don't know where you are, but you know the goal, like how you're gonna reach it. Like imagine you know the goal. You know what do you want, but you don't know where you are. So how long it's going to take you, how many steps.
Mm.
Maybe the treasure is near to you,
Yeah.
but you don't know where you are. so it's very, very important to know where you are. Where are your, like, maybe you're struggling, you have certain challenges. If you're not understanding what exactly is happening with you, this is the main thing that maybe we need to a little bit talk about,
Mm.
because most of the chaotic things that we put ourselves into or is around us or we attract comes from within,
Yeah.
isn't it, Mason?
100%.
Sometimes we call them sometimes shadows, sometimes we call them dragons that breathe fire in our brain. So whenever we feel like you get angry of something, most of the time you see people, they're angry in the road, they're like so much, they are triggered with certain things. So put a note today and ask yourself, what is triggering you, is triggering your chaos, what, when is chaos is happening exactly. And when you keep on writing those notes, you will understand, okay, I have I've been anxious. I've been angry. I've been like feeling inferior. I've been feeling like entitled, because sometimes we feel like we're entitled to have everything. We're entitled that everybody comes to us. We're putting this kind of entitlement, while like we're putting expectations, and that's why when you put all of those expectations, what happens is that your expectations are never met, because you don't say it. You're just feeling that you're entitled. So there are testing, like, Maysoon, there are many testing that we can identify what is happening with us in order for us to be aligned.
Yeah.
So this will be my tip, is to understand yourself. How you're going to be reaching that point by journaling sometimes. Because if you're unable to meditate, because life is so chaotic, give yourself a moment to write down. Or last week we gave a tip of the note to stop.
Yeah.
Stop yourself.
Yeah.
Just like imagine that there's a traffic light. Stop.
Mm.
Just always remember to stop and allow yourself to calm down,
Calibrate.
breathe.
Calibrate. I like to use this word, calibrating everything within you, your feelings, your emotions, even your tasks, you want to calibrate them. And when you talk about goals, Hiba, I'm going to give you a very, very important tip. When we talk about goals, what is very important, and I talk about this when I talk also about procrastination and how to release yourself from being a procrastinator. When you put goals, it's very important that you put goals that are achievable. Don't set yourself to failure. That's very important. When we are talking about goals, we're not talking about, I want to liberate humanity. I want to bring peace to the world. I mean, that's amazing and it's beautiful. And if anyone can do it, it's amazing. But let's be realistic and let's put those goals like the darts that Hiba is talking about. These are very specific goals. They're not broad goals. They're not goals that are out there that are unreachable. They are goals that are right in front of your eyes. So remember, when you are putting those goals, make sure that they are goals that are quantifiable, qualifiable, and achievable. So, and put small goals, you know, to reach the top of the mountain. You cannot jump and be on the top of the mountain, right? You have to go step by step, step by step. So, these goals that we're talking about are small goals, goals that you know you can achieve, even if they are taking you out of your comfort zone. And we go back to understanding where we are. What is our comfort zone? And if this is going to take me out of my comfort zone, I know I can do it. This is the attitude that you want to have, right? I know I can do it. I am doing it. And I will do it step by step. I will set myself to success. That's the mindset that you want to have. And when we talk about mindfulness, this is the mindfulness that we want to talk about. This is the mindset that we want to have. We are always looking at achieving success. We don't, and another thing that I want to give you as a tip, why are affirmations powerful? Why do you think affirmations are powerful? Because affirmations actually talk to our body or to our subconscious mind in the right way. Our subconscious mind does not understand anything that is called negation. So if I say, I don't want to be sick, my subconscious mind will hear the word sick and will go straight away to that. If I say, I don't want to be poor, my subconscious mind will hear the word poor. That will not hear the word, I don't want to. It will hear the word poor, and that's it. And this is where I will be sitting, I will be attracting from the universe everything that is related to being poor or to being in lack. Instead of saying, I desire abundance, or instead of saying, I am abundant, that's why affirmations are important. It's like you're already telling yourself, you're already telling your subconscious mind that you are there. And this is how we manifest things in our lives. Now, because life is a little bit more complicated than this, you know, it's true that we can manifest anything that we desire. And believe me,
Mm.
Hiba knows, I know, when we are in the right space, whether it's our head space or our body space, when we have released the limitations, and also the limitations were which are our limiting beliefs, and also the shadows that Hiba just talked about a little bit earlier,
Blockages.
those blockages that we have in our life that have been created by us, by society, by our parents. Some of them, they have just even come with us to this, planet, to this life. Once we are aware of these limitations and of these shadows, and we clear them, it's literally, I will give an example of a very simple example. It's like you have a river and it's filled with rocks and trees that are holding off the flow of the water, right? If you want the water to flow, what do? You remove the rocks, you remove the trees, you remove the trunks of the trees, and the water will start flowing in its path, right? The
Yeah.
path is there. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The path is there. There are blocks that are limiting that flow that we are supposed to be living in. So all we need to do
Yeah.
is remove those blocks. And those blocks can be caused by the shadows, by the limiting beliefs, and by this unbalance that we were talking about between our feminine and our masculine energy. And all of this is kind of like interconnected in a way that when you start by removing one thing, and that's the beauty of it, it's like a snowball, you know. When you start
Mm.
removing, it will start getting bigger and bigger, and then the more you remove, the more that flow will go in the right direction, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I feel like it's the same 100%. It's like adjusting your antenna, right? We're talking about the snowball, we're talking about the river, and it's if you want to reach calmness, it's like adjusting your antenna, and somebody's talking about adjusting your compass.
Yeah.
Like if you want to know where you want to reach, you want to reach because the thing is that if you believe that abundance is there for you and you deserve to have it because you are worthy of everything that is around you, because you are. And if you have a challenge in believing that point, then that's why you need to dig deep. and remove that rock because it's blocking your signal. It's blocking you from reaching your potential. It's blocking you from reaching your calmness, because the moment that you calm down, like if you are in sales, if you are in and working in any field that need you to get results, which is everybody, like being in any kind of role, you want results, you want to be successful. The norm is that you want to become successful, you want to reach your highest potential, correct? The moment that you know what you want, remove and adjust your antenna by removing those blockages, you are lighter. So you're able to see clearer.
Mm.
So anytime you feel like there are blockages from here and there, breathe in. Because I want to recap my soon. I'm just looking at the time.
We can talk. That's fine.
So
If
so
people are
just to,
enjoying, we can keep on doing this.
yeah, yeah. It's like breathe. Take that pill of breathing, so you would allow your signals and allow your brain to have the blood flow in the right directions, so that each section of your brain will work properly. The moment that your signals inside your nervous system are working and the blood is allowing you to work properly, then you're having your energies in the right moment, in the
Yeah.
right you're calibrating, as my son you're saying, you're calibrating.
Yeah.
Even if you feel like your hormones are upside down because of many things, calibrate them.
Yeah.
Use your brain to imagine those hormones is being calibrated.
And by the way, just so you know, hormones are not related to women only. Hormones are hormones, you know, you have the feel good hormones, you have the feel bad hormones, and these exist in all of us. It's not, you know, the hormones of a woman or something related to that. This is something that we all have. What, when you were talking, I saw a vision. You know, when you are watching an orchestra, right? And you have all these musical instruments playing together. Imagine one of them is out of tune, or one of them is playing a completely different musical part, you know, or a completely different symphony. How that sound would, like, you would recognize it, you would straight away see it. And
My
this,
ears will be bigger.
yeah, and this is to answer one of the questions that we received. We got a question saying, how do we get to know we are getting trouble? It's very simple. You will feel it, you will see it. What happens most of the time is, because we don't breathe, because we don't allow our antennas to actually detect things from around us, we kind of ignore the messages that come to us. The universe is always sending us messages, you know. The everything around us is a reflection of what is happening inside of us. When we allow trouble in our life, is because we are asking for this trouble for something very specific. So, to answer your question, Ali, you want to know why you are getting that trouble. So the why, we spoke about this also last week. It's very important to understand all the whys in your life, not just the why of why am I here, or why am I doing this, or why do I want my life to be in a certain way. We ask the why question for everything, right? So that trouble, you will feel it coming because you know it is coming, because you asked for it, because this trouble is going to come to teach you something very specific. And that's the reason you are bringing it to your life. So ask yourself, before that trouble comes, ask yourself, What is it that I am trying to teach myself? What is it that I'm trying to learn? And when we talk about learning, we talk about our soul becoming more and more elevated, becoming or vibrating on a higher level. When our soul vibrates on a higher level is really when our soul is learning all the virtues that it is supposed to learn. For example, as a mother, Hiba, and correct me if I'm wrong, one of the virtues
Yeah.
that you learn as a mother is patience. How patient is a mother, right? One of the virtues that a mother learns, for example, is handling pain, because through pregnancy and through the delivery, how much pain, like physical pain, does a mother go through to deliver a soul, a new soul to this world? And this is one of the
Yeah.
virtues. So for me, if, for example, because I'm not a mother, if I was not given this opportunity to learn this pain as a mother, maybe it's because I've already learned this pain. Maybe my soul is already aware of this pain and my soul is on a different path now. It's learning different things now. So, again, to answer your question, is what is your soul trying to learn? This is what your soul will bring more into your life so that you can escalate in that vibration by
Yeah,
learning and more.
100%, my son. And even like having children, like we all like feel like our duty as mothers is to bring up our children in the right manner, and this is our what we need to do. But actually we bring children so that we can learn. It's
Yeah.
like each one of them is a learning, a total learning experience.
And
Like
they
I would never.
and they
Mhm.
are also learning. You are kind of the um you are the intermediate between that soul and what it is supposed to be learning. So you're the kind of what do you call it, you're the tunnel, right? As a
Yeah,
mother,
yeah.
you are the tunnel through which this soul has to come to this life in order to learn, in order to elevate, in order to become even better. And this is what every single one of us is doing on this earth, on this planet. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
we are
So
learning.
to go back, like each one will allow us to learn. They come to teach us something. And every chaotic moment is there to teach you something. Like why this is happening, why you're attending this webinar. What have you learned? Like your aha moments needs to be written down for you and for us as well to know the value that you are learning today, because every message, because we've been talking for an hour almost,
And our
we've given you many messages. Now, some of you have just got the messages that you need to learn today for you to improve and reach your potential on a certain point. So grab it. Like what I would really advise is just write it down and try to practice it. Because if you're gonna learn it now and forget it or not elaborate on that, you're going back into your comfort zone.
yeah,
If you're gonna be it's gonna always be in your subconscious brain,
yeah.
your subconscious mind. It's gonna always be there. We are triggering it now, so allow it to flow, allow this new tunnels to become out into the light so you can adjust and have your antenna with the right signal.
I
What do
call
you think?
I call them opportunities, you know. Everything that we go through in life, it really, like when I said earlier, it's a perception, right? It's how you perceive it. If you look at it as a challenge, it's going to be a challenge. If you look at it as an opportunity to learn, it's going to be your opportunity to learn. So really change the way you look at things, change your perspective, change how you look and what you see will be different the minute you change how you look. It's like literally changing a lens. So if your lens today is showing you unhappiness, it's showing you gloominess, it's showing you anxiety, it's showing you trouble, change the lens and look at things from a different perspective. Change your perspective, everything will change for you consequently. And those triggers that Hiba is talking about, these are your opportunities. So whenever you feel like, oh, this is like she said, some things you might have resonated with, and some things might have not meant anything for you. Those things that might have not meant anything for you, it's not the time for you to look at them because they just passed by. But the things that created that aha, oh my God, whoa, okay, maybe I need to think of this. So if that maybe showed up, then definitely you have to think of this. It's not about like maybe. If that maybe showed up, it means that this is something that you want to look at. This is something that you want to work on. This is something that you want to bring that loop, that magnifier, and you want to look at it and magnify it and see what is it that in this very specific thing that I resonated with. What did that mean to me? How does that speak to me? And then, like Hiba
Yeah.
said, please let us know if you have any questions, if you have any moments that you felt, hey, I want a little bit more details about this. Let us know, because this is why we are here. We are here to help you. We are here to guide you through what we have already been through and what we have already learned. We're both teaching from our experience. We're both teaching from the things that we have learned, from the things that we have mastered, and from the things that we are still going through, because life does not stop, right? Life is a continuous cycle. You learn a little bit and then you feel like, oh my God, I need to learn more. And you want to learn more and you become even more and more aware. And when this journey starts, it doesn't really stop. So our job here, and we do take it, I don't want to say a job, but we both are here for a reason, just like every single one of you out there is here for a reason. And our reason is to be of service to those who are in our surrounding, those who live with us. And when I say with us, I don't mean with us physically, those who live with us in this same realm, in this same place, like as souls, our soul family, our soul friends, every single one out there who is attracted to what we are doing is attracted to what we are doing for that very specific reason, so that we can be of service to them. And one other thing that's very important, what we teach is also what we learn from you. So in that relationship, it's not a one-way relationship. What I help other people with, believe me when I tell you, I receive help from them even without them knowing. Every single thing that we do for others, and that applies to you as well, our audience, when you do anything for anyone outside of you, it is also a learning experience for you. It's not just for you to give, it is also you, one way or another, taking and receiving. Now, we do it subconsciously, but how nice it would be if we start doing it consciously and we are more aware.
So what do they need to do, Mason, in order if they're feeling the calling, if any of our audience or the one who are watching the replay, they feel like they want to learn more, they want to calm this chaotic feeling that they are having, or anything that they feel like they don't know what exactly is happening, but they want to learn more, what can they do?
Well, first of all, they have two amazing beings that, so humbly I say it, because I've received these comments from everyone who I speak to. we are here to support. That's why we do this. We are here to help.
Mm.
So all you need to do is, if you feel you are called to have someone guide you in on this path, and guide you, and maybe just simply hold your hand. Sometimes that's all what people need, is someone to hold their hand, someone who has done this, been there, done that. So all you need to
Mm.
do is let us know. You can message Hiba if you are on her Facebook group. You can message me if you are on my Facebook group. You can send us emails. You've been receiving our emails. Just reach out to us and let us know that you are requiring some support. And it's very simple. We can go on a call with you. We can have a 30 minutes call, a 1 hour call. It really depends. Sometimes we take longer, as today. But it's all for a good reason. If this is happening, it's happening for a reason, you know? So just let us
Yeah.
know. We'll get on a call with you. We'll get to understand really where you are in your life today. What is happening? What's the dynamic of your life today? And we will also give you tips, just kind of like we were doing today. We will give you a lot of tips during those calls that will help you instantly to start making a change in your life. And then at the end of the call, if any of us feel like, yes, I can definitely help this person. My energy and this person's energy can definitely work together, and we can for sure get something out that will make this person elevate in their life and live a better life. We will both show you what it would look like to work with us, because we both have two beautiful programs that they're very close to each other, but at the same time they're kind of apart. But we are here to support. That's the major point. Whether you feel, attracted to do this program or that program, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, our aim is to help you. So all you need to do is message us, say, I want to talk. I want to have a call with you. And we will do that very gladly. It's a free call. Don't worry about it. So all you need to do is let us know. We'll get on that call. And then if we click, we will show you what it looks like to work with us, right?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And if you're feeling the calling, if you have got some value, like show us in the chat or just comment so that we know that we're adding value to you. I've seen many messages of thank yous and stars, and like that was insightful. So thank you for all your comments and sharing that this was good. And if you feel like there's a topic that we have just uh, put highlighted, but we didn't go deep, and you would like us to talk more about that, then please as well do that, because every webinar we're like, this is the final webinar, and then no, they're asking us for more, than we're putting more and more.
Yeah,
So we said we will do that every week as we speak.
yeah,
So yeah, thank you so much, Maysoon, for having me, for always being there, sharing your insightful points and harmony of the feminine and the masculine and everything. So thank you everybody for being with us and showing up for yourself first to learn something new, and showing up for us and allowing us to share this value with you.
yeah. And thank you, Hiba, for always being here. It's like I said at the beginning, we do not live alone in this world. No matter how much we try to, put ourselves or shield ourselves, there's always a reason for people to be around us. And you are one amazing reason for me to, be out there and talk about all of this and help as many people as we can, both of us. I mean, we are both in this together. So thank you everyone for watching. Those of you who've missed this, I'm sure if you are watching, it means you've asked for the replay. So remember, you can always ask for the replay, and we will see you again next week with a new topic. If it's something that you want us to talk about, just like Hiba said, just send us messages. Let us know what are the things that you would like us to focus on, and we will be more than happy. Usually we stay for 1 hour. Today is 1 hour, 19 minutes. That's the longest we've gone so far. But if it wasn't supposed to happen, it wouldn't have happened, right?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, everybody, and see you
All right.
next week.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye bye.